Okay, so who do we have here? Is it time to meet some of you friendly girls in person? Hey, sweetie. The one that's jumping on me here is Septima. And this, you move out of the way, is Ophelia. Hey. He really loves affection. Septima gets very jealous, don't you? Here. Hey, honey. Adelina. These are both my suffrage years. This is Matilda. And this is the new one. This is Hero. She just started having some affection for me. I just was out skiing. I did about 2 miles on a trail that's actually the power company's right of way. But I am okay. A lot of snowmobiles go on it. So I'm able to get on the skis out there. It's really nice. Yeah, it was a beautiful day today. It still is beautiful. Right? I love you too. I just do. Don't eat this. The last time I did this, one of the ewes ate the foam off of the microphone. Hi there, Bianca. This is my Bianca. She's got a snowy face because she was eaten the snow. I need to get down. Looking forward to these fleeces, that's for sure. Go on. Silly girls. There's Alice Paul. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, honey. Hi. Oh, you got the mic. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, you didn't get it. You tried, though. So, yeah, I love having friendly lambs, but sometimes it can get a little over the top, huh? Some of them can be kind of bossy. Do you babies think I have grain? I've had enough of you, Missy. You're being so mean. Hey, don't lick that. That's Saren, the yellow. Oh no, it's Locola. You are such a rotten little thing. Septima, stop it. Gosh. Why are they so terrible? Why are you guys so mean? So here I am, Sunday with my sheep. How many sheep are out here right now? I think I have 53 ewes. A lot of ewe lambs. I think I've got maybe 15 ewe lambs from last year. All the ewes out here are bred. Hi, Belva. You would never be terrible. You're just so good. Right? So my strategy with the skiing was I figured I'd get my core nice and hot. And that way it wouldn't be so cold out here, but it's really not that bad. Being away from the wind. Oh, that's okay. I gotcha. Hey, no, don't lick it. I bet you it's all smeary. Stop it. Hi, Mabel. How's our girl? How's our girl doing? You having a good winter? Is it nice? Yeah. Here's Lucretia. Oh, you got stinky, grassy burps. Smells so good. I can barely see. I think this is Sojourner. Hi, sweetie. Oh, these girls, they're so lovely. You got hay. You want that? Oh, excuse me. Oh, no, that's not Sojourner. This is Adelina. Here's Sojourner right here. And there's Susan B. Lucretia's really nice. She's going to give me a nice big fleece this year. Nice big white fleece. You were cracking me up. Little stinker. There's my Mabel. I did not haul it. Lucretia, I gotta get my stick. Hey! Where did I put my stick? Don't bam me. I don't like it. All right, so it didn't get smudged, surprisingly. Let's see how she is now. Are you going to smash into me again? I don't like that very much. I'm alone for about 3 seconds, and then they come back. My sweetie. You know, you feel down and unappreciated. And like, just come out to the barn. Not that I feel down or unappreciated, but oops, here, hang on a second. I gotta scare her off. Can we look at your fleece? That's what I would like to do. Come here. I also want to look at yours because you're out of my Genoa. All right, let's see what we got here. Not bad. She's out of Sif. Oh, such a dear. Dear, dear, dear. These little ones are just taking it all in. You're so sweet. Hey, Mama. Mrs. Hughes. One of our older girls. I'm starting to feel tired from the skiing. All right, girls. I gotta go back in. I gotta go get you guys some grain. We're almost out of grain. Giving them grain, about a cup of you, even the lambs, because it's cold and they need more right now. Hi, little shy thing. You're just so content, aren't ya? Got all my lap sheep. Do you want to go with them? All right, girlies. Hi, Amelia. How's our pretty girl? Yeah. Oh, well, it gives me a good chance to get away.
Hi there, welcome to the Wool Cave. And if you've not seen my videos before, the Wool Cave is the basement of my house that I have sort of taken over with where I fulfill orders, where I ship all my orders, where I spin, card, comb, just pretty much do everything related to fiber. I've chosen to do it down here for a couple of reasons. Number one is it gets really messy. I mean, when I get in a creative flurry, I sort of make a mess. And also we have cats, and the cats tend to chew on the drive bands and get their fur and the wool and stuff. So I'm down in the Wool Cave. It's kind of dark and quiet. I really like it though. What I wanted to do here was to talk to you about some of my projects. Right now we're in the month of January, end of January. We shear the sheep mid-April. At this point in time, I have no fleeces left. There's no raw fleeces for me to process. Now I'm kind of working on things that I've discarded in the past. Just stuff that I felt, took a little more time than it was worth, or I wasn't really in my comfort zone. So now I'm going through all those baskets and bags of wool from my sheep that I've sort of been, those are the rainy day projects, I guess. And I wanted to share some of those with you. So one thing about me is that I don't really spin wool from other farms, or I don't buy wool to spin. Everything I spin comes from my sheep. I don't know why that is. I guess I feel like any second I spend not getting to know my fiber better is time not well spent. I think that's what it is. I just saying it out loud made me realize that that's really what it's about. And in these, where I'm going over some of these fibers that aren't the best, I'm learning some stuff, learning new techniques, and realizing that, you can spin, as long as you're not overspinning and making really, really tight, coarse fiber, you can make some really nice things once you've knit them up. These yarns I'm making, I'm really pleased and pleasantly surprised with the outcomes after this yarn's been knit into garments, mostly hats and stuff. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I want to show you, you might remember I did a segment a while ago where I went through some old pillow fillers that I had at that time, 3-4 years ago, said this wool is no use, it's only good for pillow filler. And I went through it today and found a lot of wool that now I think is probably I could convert into something, especially since there isn't a lot of wool around for me to work with. So this is the bag of it, and it's a recycled plastic bag, so for those of you, something we bought came in a nice big bag, so I'm recycling it. But this is fiber. Some of it is flick carding waste, but a lot of it is just wool that I, at the carding table, decided, it's not worth my time to flick this, and I would just throw it in the waste bin. So I'm still going through this, but one outcome, and this still has to get washed, is this self-striping yarn. And this is enough to make the fingerless mitts. So this is something I just make on a regular basis. 5 colors: black, gray, fawn, mordant, and white. And I like it because it represents the main colors of the Shetland color wheel. So I made this from all that wool I scavenged. So I sorted by color, tone, and this represents probably 40 different sheep, really, when you think about all the different locks that I went through. So that's that thing to show you. Just happened to be in the same basket with everything else. Here in the backdrop, by the way, this is my Susie wheel, and I'm using this right now to make some more bulkier yarns, and I'll talk about that. Actually, I'll talk about that next. The next project, this is fiber that I rooed this ewe. This is from our ewe Sif. I actually featured her. She was in our Nordic year. So this is a wool from Sif. She's gray catmugget, and I told you, remember in the video, that she's got these amazing color variation from very silvery light gray to a very dark charcoal gray. So this particular year, this must have been her lamb fleece, I rooed her. And I'm gonna put a link here. There's a little card. If you click on that, you can see me rooing one of my sheep. If I can find the one of me rooing Sif, I'll put that one up. And after I was finished, I washed her fleece and I flicked it for some reason. I think because I wasn't selling rude fleeces at that time, because I hadn't perfected the technique for it. So I flick carded that fleece, made some bats, and I know exactly where they are. They're actually somewhere in Western New York. I don't know if the person that got them has spun them yet, but and I actually think I might have sorted them in a gradient. That was really fun. So anyway, so this is bats that I made from the flicking waste. Now she was coated and I rooed her, and she was a lamb. So it was, even the waste was really nice. And so I could not bear to get rid of it. So I drum carded it and made it into these bats. Here's one of the bats. And I just blobbed it all together. I was not particular in any way. And this one's actually really nice. You can see there's a lot of neps. And that's from the tip, which is typically when you're flicking fiber, that is waste, right? You don't want those little tips for the yarn that I normally make. Here's another one, a little bit more neppy. Quite a bit more neppy than the other one. All right, so what I'm doing, and I had actually intended to do this all along with this, is I am spinning it with long draw technique and letting those little neps just get right into the yarn. If they're super loose, sometimes I will pull them off. And what I'm making is this very interesting tweedy, neppy single, and I'm gonna ply this, do a 2-ply. I have a little bit more than 2 ounces total, so that'll be a pretty skein. So looking forward to that. This is the first bobbin. I'm gonna be working on the second bobbin, and I'm gonna pause the video here for a second, and I'm gonna show you how I'm spinning Sif's wool, and I'm spinning it on the Susie. And the reason I like spinning this type of a prep on the Susie is the Susie gives me a little bit more pull. It's pulling a little bit harder than the Rose. I probably should be doing this on the Aura, but the Aura's packed away right now and I just didn't feel like getting it out. So I'll show you this spin right now on the Susie wheel. So I have the wheel set up with the wheel, the whorl that came with the Susie. I'm on a slower speed. This is the standard fine flyer, which has a 6mm ceramic lined orifice and then open hooks. I'm using one of my old bobbins. So that's what the setup is right now. And then once I get that finished, I did the same thing with another ewe, Hilder, from that year. I don't have Hilder in the flock any longer, but I rooed her. She is Morit. Beautiful Morit wool. I got 4 bats from that thing. I think they're all about an ounce roughly. And I'm going to do the same thing. Also have the nice neppiness. Really pretty. One of the things though I'm finding, spinning this extra fine crimpy, slightly lanolin-y wool, is I'm having a hard time with the long draw without doing a little bit of drafting. I guess that's called supported long draw. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you as it relates to how I'm using more of the fleece now. So like the curly bits in the past, I would put those in as mulch. Well, now curly bits, I use them for needle felting. These adorable, I never can figure out where these adorable little felted lambs, and the curly bits make up the fleece, right? So that's one application. But the other thing I've learned with the curly bits is that they make a really fun lock spun yarn. So I'm starting to do that. So I'm also, when I used to throw away all the britch wool, now I make my comb top. That's when you order comb top from me. Right? This is britch wool, older ewes that I would sell for a ridiculously cheap price. They're fleeces, just to get them out of the garage. Older ewes, what did I say? Rams. So ram fleeces I didn't like to process by hand. So those, what did I do with those in the past? They would just sit in the garage. I actually, the first year I made comb top, or had comb top made, I had a ton because I just found, I was just like finding raw fleeces all nooks and crannies in the garage from rams. I could find them by the smell because they do have a very strong scent. So yeah, so that type of stuff is what goes into my comb top. So it's an amalgam of quite a few different types of wool. So the britch wool that I say, I'm not going to put this in a raw fleece. I don't want to process it into my handmade bats. It's going into this, and it's very nice. And the other thing I've learned is a good option for flicking waste, combing waste is, you guys are going to love this. This is brand new. I just got this in October. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of these. One of them is 90 by 90 and one of them is 45 by 72. I just put these in the shop. They're all this dark gray color. These are quilt bats. So this is flicking and combing waste. So all those little pads that come off my flicker that look like this are now being turned into quilt bats. And, you know, I mean, if you were inclined, I suppose you could spin this. It's a very drab color because it's, you know, every color blended into a, you know, they're all the same. It always ends up, every time I mix up all my wool, like in the beginning when I first started, I just pulled it all together in the same lot. It always comes out this really, it's actually pretty, but it's a fairly drab gray color. So for my quilting friends out there, thinking of a couple of you in my head right now, if it'd be great if you could just pop on my site and take a look at my listings and let me know if there's any information I'm missing. So I'll put a link in the description for those listings. I don't know. I don't sew, so I'm not really sure what information you're going to need as a quilter to know whether or not you want to use these bats for quilts. So that's a new thing, and now there's, other than, you know, the pieces of the fleece that are just so packed, they call them tags, dung tags, so packed with manure and mud that, you know, they're just, there's more manure than fiber. That goes into It actually goes into my garden because, like I said, there is that much manure on them. The short little bits go into the quilt batting now. So like when he shears their little pole, the curly bits on the poles, all that stuff, I grab that up. The belly wool now goes into the quilt bats, only because on shearing day I don't separate that by color, and that would be kind of annoying to do. So yeah, so I'm using it all. All right, so back to some of my fleeces. I had a fleece, I just washed it, and it's from Koki, and I think I've talked about this before, where she has a very short fleece. This is the first skein I made. I need to wash this. And it is I just spin it from the locks, and then I ply it with a lace weight. So I'm working on a second skein. This is it this is the single of the bulky stuff. So I would be plying this with a lace weight. This is what the wool looks like. And the thing I want to draw your attention to is that the tips are really dirty. And so what I'm doing is I'm pulling the tips off with my hands before I spin it. I just don't want to toss this because it's so soft and so bouncy. It's going to make a really wonderful character-filled hat. So I'm going to continue working on that. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I mean, there are still little bits and scraps. I suppose I could go around on the carpet and pick up. Here's one right here. Oh, there's a lovely piece. That came off the floor. I don't know where it's from. There's a little bit of dirt in there, but I mean, I'll come up with something. There's always something to do. I have very old roving that's not as, it's just not nice. This is from way early on. It's not soft. The prep isn't great, but I have a lot of this. So maybe I'll make a bunch of balls. A bunch of wool balls, felted balls. And you know, work on that for a while. So that's, that's what I'm working on down here in the wool cave. And anyways, hope you enjoyed this little presentation of my fiber, and hope your spinning is productive and you're enjoying this cold weather, keeping busy at your wheels and your knitting needles and crochet hooks or whatever you do. In this segment, I wanted to introduce you to our new additions to the family, 3 barn cats that we adopted over the summer. And in this segment, I'm going to take you through the months as they progress and get older. But I wanted to introduce them to you so you know who they were through the video. This is our Sabrina. And Sabrina is mostly white, but she's got a black tail and her little black patch on her head. And she's really very sweet, very lovable. So this is Sabrina. We named all of them after different witches and warlocks. And this is Tabitha. And Tabitha you can recognize because she's got the little black patch on her nose, kind of like Scarecrow. She's kind of the grown-up one of the 3. A little bit more reserved, a little more hesitant. And you'll sort of see her personality in the videos. So this is Tabitha again. She's got the black nose, so that's how you can recognize her. Okay, so this is Trixie. She's our old cat that does not like to be held. So anyways, Trixie, she's probably 15 or something. Hey, Trixie. All right, so this is Gandalf. So he's the boy. He's spotted, body is spotted, but he doesn't have the black spot on his nose, so that's how you can tell it's Gandalf. And Gandalf kind of had a slow start. He had a bot when he was living out in the barn before we brought him in the house. So we took him to the vet and got it removed, but in the videos you'll see he's the smaller kitten, but he's caught up very nicely. So Gandalf. So I hope you enjoy this footage. I know it's not sheep related, but they were in the barn. That's where we found them. And so I guess that sort of counts. So I hope you like this. So this was the first picture I took of them as newborns. And there's little Gandalf. So they took up residence in the barn.
A fly that preferentially lays its eggs on rabbits. And this is what they do. They burrow under the skin, they mature, and then they get out and they fly away.
One of them was out with the sheep in the main barn. And kind of got roughed up a little bit, but I grabbed him and I put him back in with their mother, who she had a very violent reaction to me. But they ended up living in this section of the barn where we store the minerals and the straw, so I'd started feeding them at this point. Because it didn't seem like the mother was with them that often. So then the mother, she started taking them and hiding them from us. There's Tabitha playing with a stone. And so we started this little battle with her where she would take them, hide them somewhere in the brush or something and leave them there. And then I'd find them and bring them back in the barn. So one day, she hid them and we couldn't find them. And I spent the entire day trying to find them. Rich found Sabrina in a hedge, one of the hedgerows, and it was raining. The weather was kind of terrible. And that was when he brought her in the house, and I remember I came in from chores and she was sitting on his lap in the house, which they'd never been in the house before. And I was like, really? We're going to have house cats? And we just couldn't resist it. So then, that's Sabrina. So she spent the night in the house, and the next morning I went out on the hunt to try and find the other two. And Tabitha was the next one I found, and she was underneath one of the barn doors, and it was raining. And so I brought her in and we put her in this refrigerator box. That's a picture of the mother. She's very feral. And then I found Gandalf across the road, just kind of exposed right on the side of the road. Our neighbor's house, and I brought him in, and there they are. We had the 3 of them spay-neutered in January, and the girls had to wear the cones for 2 weeks, which seemed like an eternity. Poor little things. Gandalf bounced right back. The girls, it took them a day or 2 to get back to normal. It's not quite dinner time. This is where you guys live? Is this your room?